pilot of the Red Planet Taxi Service ship, registration Red 4, please remove your hauler from the medium pad.
Are you suffering with Hutton burnout? Have your feet gone numb from sitting in a cockpit for too long? Is there a strange smell in your cockpit? Did you spill your coffee last time you were interdicted? At Hutton Orbital, Wanda's Pilots Emporium has everything you need to de-stress after a hard day's trucking. Our patented scrap-built vibrating massage chairs will soothe away your aches and pains. A foot spa and manicure will revitalise you, ready for your next trip. Or simply recline in one of Wanda's spacious hammocks for a much-needed power nap. Whilst you relax, our team of fully insured sanitation agents will scrub the inside of your cockpit, leaving nothing behind but a pleasant smell of fresh linen. Forget about the ship's wear and tear. Take care of yourself at Wanda's, the furthest you'll ever go to relax.
Please stow your tables in the upright position. Please ensure that all seatbelts are now fastened.
Hutton Orbital. No, it's supposed to look like that.
Prepare to change the bulb to the red flashing one. Hold tight.
In the Hutton studio this evening, a group of station crew dressed in overalls are unwrapping some very large boxes. The side of the boxes are stamped Brewer Corporation and Rejected Observation Lounge Seating. In front of the desks, the first is unveiled and it's a chair. Not just a chair, this is a throne. Made from the melted remains of tactical weaponry and looking like it belongs on the kind of TV show that has dragons, gratuitous nudity, and a lot of violence. It has a little pink cushion on the seat and the name Flossy laser engraved on the back. Next to that is a high-backed winged leather armchair. Deep green and the kind of place you'd sit wearing a monocle and puffing on your pipe whilst reading one of the galactic broadsheets. This one says Chicks. The Hutton caretaking crew are busy lifting the third seat, hanging it from a big hook on the ceiling and activating the large magnet underneath, the one that keeps it going mad in 0G. It swings gently and has a hollow sign saying, Aemilia. Behind the decks are a pair of chairs. One looks like it has a built-in massager, orthopaedic cushions, a space for a sippy cup and a foot massager. The other has more buttons than is strictly necessary. Gadgets and widgets everywhere, and a medical kit in the armrest. And finally, there's an office chair. The kind with a little lever under the side that makes it go up. They adjust it up as far as it goes. The label on this one simply says, sorry. Everyone enters the studio, takes their places amongst the mismatched furniture, looks longingly at the really comfy sofa in the green room, but before they can begin a game of musical chairs, one of the myriad of buttons is pushed and a voice says,
Our mics are very comfortably live. Good evening, good evening. I'm Rudolph Hucker, and I've got a very warm bum and so many buttons.
I'm Harry Borzek, and I might just go for my nap in a minute.
I'm Quanker, and I'm waiting for Jeeves to bring my nightcap.
I'm Norma Snookers. I've got a tormentor poking me in the back. This isn't very comfortable.
Yeah, but you do look very grand up there. So you can get a little cubbyhole for your crochet. I'm the apology officer, and who put this chair so high?
Wilma is apparently tending to Aemilia as the rare item she tried this week has left her more than a little discombobulated. So sit right there, put your feet up.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Because it's time for the news. Fleet carrier or slow train?
Clumsy twit gets fishy hit.
It's all fun and games until someone gets slightly electrocuted.
How to be a complete bar steward.
Galnet utopia for those with claustrophobia.
Eggy poos. Their faces are covered in both.
You cannot be serious!
The community, it's out there.
With Brewer Corporation finally completing work on the fleet carrier lifts that take you from your pad to the concourse, and access being granted to carrier commanders and visitors alike, squillionaires throughout the galaxy have been hopping on board their mighty megaships and jumping them over to the nearest Brewer brand quick-fit to bring a little bit extra to their concourse. There are rumours that the rush to open up these new areas have led to a few corners being cut, not least of which the lack of a guardrail in front of the captain's chair, which many have speculated will lead to a rash of lawsuits as clumsy commanders plummet forward onto the heads of their carrier crew. Brewer have stated that it is mandatory to be seated at all points that the carrier is moving, and if you don't watch where you're walking, that's just your own fault. They've pointed out for those that are attempting to use VR whilst they're exercising their space legs that they've only enabled it in your helmet when you're sitting as well to avoid any accidents. Which of course is not entirely true, as a few have already reported having a little accident when watching a carrier jump from the captain's chair, whether through excitement or bowel-emptying terror. Our reporter hasn't specified. Back on track though, whether it's encouraging bartenders to take up new itinerant careers, installing their own military surplus store, or adding the botanical services of Vista Genomics, or even just sitting in the carrier commander's chair and watching the light show as it jumps between systems, complete with mega honks on the horn, there's been a whole lot of mass jumping around the galaxy in the last few days. Brewer Corporation, working closely with the Pilots Federation, spotted an immediate problem though, and via remote control had to step in for a few days. It appears that tonnage of that size by that many ships opening witch space portals was a tad dangerous. For starters, for small systems, having hundreds of fleet carriers arriving all at once and the subsequent space distortions caused would probably be a hazard to shipping. Then, of course, there was a small consideration for the local parking attendants, who, despite degrees in 3D orbital mechanics and juggling skills that would keep a troop of clowns busy for weeks, were rather concerned that fitting all that mass into a system would just give them a headache, and end up with egg on their faces. Of course, the biggest concern was that ships might tear the arse out of the trousers of time being inextricably linked to space, and made of fabric. The potential for the arrival of hundreds of carriers all at once in one location, or even just creating a network of tiny little tears all over the place, a bit like the genes of teenagers, which all appear to have survived a bear attack, would be bad. What horrors live in witch space that might want to poke their heads out of the holes and devour humanity? Would whole planets get sucked up in a lightning-filled, swirly void? Would pilots end up living a real-life Lost in Space episode? Frightening stuff. So, Brewer and the Pilots Federation stomped hard on the brakes and instituted an extended jump preparation sequence, with some carrier commanders reporting waits of over an hour to get to the local chop shop. For our part, waiting over an hour to get somewhere's not really a problem, and faced with the kind of riptide that would cause you to soil your flight suit as face-eating aliens swarmed out of a big deep space anomaly, we'd rather just take our time.
It's a sad but inevitable fact of life that as you grow older, things which were really once so much easier take much longer, more effort, and are usually accompanied by pain. Climbing trees, recovering from drinking to excess, and remembering why you've entered the room are all much more difficult as maturity bites. No one knows this more than Major General Noctivagus, our very own creator of miniature masterpieces, and his problem, which must be familiar to oh so many of our listeners, was an insufficiency of gentleman's relish. Yes, Nocti was experiencing a lack of that tasty, salty substance which is the source of satisfaction for so many. And so he decided that there was only one thing for it. He needed assistance from arms that were not his own. In the guise of, I'm just popping out to do a mission for Hutton, Nocti set out for Euclid Station, a Coriolis station over 4,000 light seconds from Lucian 145-141, so he could do his business far away from prying and judgmental eyes. Nocti's ship was filled to the gills with fish. Yes, fish. How else could he get that umami hit for his hottest crumpet but to smear his load all over the rapidly moving arms? The objective? Stick a fishy load in just the right place and make sure that a good hammering turned the pristine contents into instant smashed fishy paste, whilst he could watch the activity from a safe distance. His special load, pre-prepared with a secret blend of spices, was loaded up and primed for ejection in front of the noob hammers. In his mind, the biggest fish smashers in the galaxy. This is where it gets just a bit sticky. Arriving sooner than anyone expected, least of all him, possibly due to over-eagerness or maybe just his failing eyesight, as the station's autogenous zones made contact with our military master mentor, Nocti exploded all over the place, making a hell of a mess and losing his full load, which was not his aim. As cargo drifted across the empty void, and Nocti was suffering from post-colloidal depression, a nearby dolphin started scooping up the containers, and the system chat contained one new message. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Commander Veleran is currently assisting with inquiries after an incident which left Commander Rampage looking like one of those half-buried bodies that we're not supposed to be seeing anymore. According to eyewitnesses, Veleran was minding his own business, performing his daily ritual as a member of the Cult of Arf, where members must every day perform a ceremony that is accompanied by the sacred words, "Panel is cut, panel is down," which apparently appeases the goddess Sally, who is always depicted with many arms for hugging and who can turn anything in the galaxy pink just by wishing it was so. Anyway, like I say, Veleran had just about finished cutting the panel when two careless children came running through the settlement like they didn't have a care in the world. Hove into view. Honestly, it was like something out of a comic. Rampage the Menace was being chased by Flossy the Minx to try and take his catapult and his matchbox containing something really disgusting that he found down the back of Cecil's pilot seat one day when he was piloting Cecil's ship, as the owner had to go for a little lie down, following a particularly heavy lunch, a whole Magnum. Well, the ice cream gets me like that as well. Anyway, the two of them were oblivious to the danger. Now, anyone who's ever seen the beginning of an episode of Casualty could guess what was going to happen next. Heedless of the warning being shouted in slow motion by Veleran, Rampage ran full pelt into the cutting beam, where he was ever so slightly electrocuted to the ground. And luckily Flossy managed to stop just in time, or the resulting image would have been just too graphic to show at this hour of the evening. Rampage's friends managed to kick his body out of the way so that the rest of the raid could continue. Hanky described Rampage's condition as acceptable.
For the budding planet-based spacehound, there are a number of routes to the stars. First, of course, there's the buy yourself a Sidewinder, get a pilot's license, and join the Pilots Federation as a fully qualified commander route. Full of danger, most of which in the early days is related to not being able to add up to big enough numbers to afford your rebuy, and gravity-related rapid unscheduled disassembly, plus of course the potential to be hyperdicted, impregnated, or just eaten by an alien species. Then there's the non-pilots commission, taking a job as crew. Sign on with a member of the Pilots Federation, shave your head, get yourself some tattoos, and then sit back as the credits roll in without actually doing anything. Of course, every now and again the commander will actually take you to a combat zone and stuff you into a tiny little fighter control bay, throw you around whilst people shoot at you, or occasionally leave you languishing in either a prison cell after accidentally shooting a friendly ship, or looking at the inside of your rapidly steaming up REM block and hoping that they rehire you when they've recovered. But now there's an easier route. No qualifications needed, no effort needed, no work required. Sign up now to become a bartender on a fleet carrier. Manage your own bar. For a 0 credit sign-up fee, but with no training, you can be given your very own space bar, complete with taps that don't pour, fridges that don't open, and a regular passing trade of people who just want to sit on the seats and attempt to sell you stuff. Well, of course, they can buy stuff from you as well, but due to union rules and cheapskate brewer corporation not installing big enough cupboards, your inventory is limited to 100 items. And none of it is beer, which is odd for a company called Brewer, and no peanuts either. We suspect that this is how Jacques managed to afford those huge engines that he strapped to his station and jumped all the way to Colonia. Want to travel the stars in style and do absolutely no work for a living? Become a space bar steward now. As an aside, anyone signing up to be a bar person is asked to be on the lookout for a prankster from the Brewer Corporation who has swapped out a number of the chairs for holo projectors. There are reports that commanders attempting to sit upon their sit-upons have instead found themselves sitting inside holo chairs, their faces looking a little surprised and their ego and their arse feeling a little bruised as they fall foul of the fakery.
Never one to let the grass grow under his feet, Commander Vulcarius has set off on a new mission to inform, educate, and if he blows up, to entertain. Like the joint efforts with Alex Zuno, it may look daunting, and of the "but why would you" variety, but as with their ventures, the answers are because it's there, and shared knowledge benefits everyone. And so Vulcarius has set off to... No, I'll let him tell the story.
The journey to Colonia has begun, with no turning back. Rules: new commander, solo, travel only by jumping, all jumps reduce distance to Colonia, max 1 drop per system and no carriers. This challenge favours exploration, allows trade and is not balanced for combat. I'm attempting it myself, intending to follow the Colonia Bridge and aiming to produce a route which new commanders can follow to get a strong start and plenty of travel knowledge. My plan is to get a hauler as soon as possible, invest in a DSS and buy a dolphin, just as I leave the bubble. My first destination for the hauler was the Matikuklok system, 36 light years away, with a 1E fuel scoop and no weapons or shield, and a few resets to get it right. I jumped down to LHS 3719 and then towards the White Dwarf, Lord 84, for a jagged 8 jump path worth 100,000 credits in FSS data. A further 7 jumps score another 30,000 from systems close by, which will help fund the DSS. Upon arrival and docking at the excellent Imperial Starport, Rutherford City, the data sale awarded me mostly aimless, and the Pilots Federation paid me an extra 100,000, or even 10,000, for failing to jump to draw me earlier. Between Universal Cartographics, the Pilots Federation, and replacing my new hauler's optional modules with the free ones from the Sidewinder, I now have well over 20 light-year range, a large fuel scoop, upgraded core modules, 8 sinks, and cover for 2 rebuys. Not a bad start for any commander, let alone one which refuses to jump away from Colonia. I expended 20% of the available bubble radius getting to this point, so I should plan carefully if I want a decent dolphin. That said, a tricked out hauler, not a bad option either.
We expect more updates from Vulcarius as he continues on his quest to go from Galactic Zero to Galactic Hero, and who knows, this could pave the way for new, ambitious startup guides for pilots who just want to get to Colonia and bask at Hanky's feet. And yes, I'm aware there's a word for people like that, but we don't judge.
Incoming encrypted transmission. Decrypting. Decryption complete.
Stand by for a message from Haxcom Actual.
Okay, Hackswing. Tharg continues to mess around in the bubble, so we need to help him find out. There are new attacks today in the HIP 38225, Partheni, and Pokemon systems.
Oh, hey, I played that before.
What?
Pac-Man.
That's an old, primitive game from old Earth. It's pretty repetitive, but it's kind of fun. I can show you where to get the ROM for it on Galnet. Corporal. Yes, Commander. 1. Not the time. 2. It's the Pokemon system, not Pac-Man. Now, may I continue? Yes, sir. We still have a minimal Goid presence in Gabia and a moderate presence in Melanges. Let's finish kicking Tharg out so we can move on to the newly attacked systems in the bubble. No stations were attacked in the new incursions, so the faster we can kick Tharg out, the better our chance of preventing innocent lives being lost. Keep track of Thargoid activity at thargoid.watch. There are still 5 stations needing repair supplies, and Operation Ida's current repair target is Hutton Orbital in Hockey. Join in to haul for a good cause and check out OperationIda.com for more information. It looks like we're in a new bubble invasion. Last time we had hundreds of stations damaged across the bubble. We can't let that happen again. Watch out for each other, keep your eyes on the signal sources, and always be ready to defend the mug.
Hexcom message complete. Defend the mug.
Encrypted transmission complete.
Whilst, for the last 3 months, the upper hand, at least in causing trouble terms, has been with EGPU, often referred to as the Eggypoos, over in Paladin Space, there are rumours that the tide may have turned in recent days. Following a galactic symposium on system influence and a special session dedicated to being naughty and the side effects thereof, it appears that the Pilots Federation have been taking a close look at all the naughty people in the galaxy. It turns out that a number of loopholes were available in the political measuring system, the only one in the galaxy that doesn't use bananas or giraffes or London buses, meaning that the unscrupulous commanders were able to pretend to support a faction and then run away giggling with the mission instructions before throwing them in a shredder at the first opportunity, plummeting the popularity of politicians from that faction and stirring up unrest. Not only that, and this one shouldn't be a surprise, but smugglers were being bad. Not just ordinary bad by bringing things into systems that were on the shadier side of the legality line, but then bribing local station personnel to magnify, multiply and exaggerate what was going on to the extent that a bit of hooky stolen cargo was being filed under major criminal enterprise and someone had deleted the tick box marked for personal use. Even the smallest smuggling session was sending security personnel into a frenzy. One commander who had a little nicotine gum stuck to the bottom of one shoe caused an entire station lockdown, a war and numerous arrests. We are glad to say that the Eggypoo's tactic of employing skullduggery in the smuggling arena the day after a war ended, of course always with a loss for them, appears to have been sufficiently stomped on. Alvin the Fear of Hutton has sent a message to say that he's looking forward to the conclusion of Operation Breastplate and to awarding some Hutton mugs to the top commanders contributing over the last few months. Well, what he actually said was "Woof" and "Rah, rah, 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 rah." Then he wagged his tail about, rolled over to have his belly tickled, but you know, we all know what that means. If of course his canine predictions come true, it means that Hutton commanders can get back to paying attention to the next article.
Well, wasn't that an exciting week in Hutton Space? 2 world wars and now, hopefully, a World Cup and a bit of peace and calm. As the Master Control Situation display board here in mop cupboard number 2 came close to running out of red and orange warning bulbs this week. More on those stories later. Despite a glimmer of hope, that Barnard star has had a hard look at itself in the mirror, run a hand over its tired, stubbly face, had a word with itself and decided to sort out its life. Well, it hasn't. It threw a sickie and went back to bed and has returned to its old hopeless ways on 25%. As usual, the other factions are squabbling amongst themselves, so there's only 10% of system influence in play to change matters. we have to go a whole 10 points higher into the mid-30s to find our next ailing systems, this time Avic on 35. However, Avic's sick note does say that it has had 2 wars with Sirius Corporation and a recent positive test for outbreak, but is now generally on the mend. Well done, Chuckers, for relieving the outbreak and fighting off Sirius for the second time in as many weeks, losing the first day but winning the next 4 on the trot. Joining Avic on 35% is Ross671, which has been out of sorts recently and just needs a bit of truckly love, fevered brow mopping and influence boosting. During the week, in Luyton 145-141, we accidentally blundered into a war with the Minutemen, who held up their hands and said, "Nothing to do with us, Gov." Thankfully, it completed this afternoon in a wholly amicable fashion with no fuss at 4-0 to Hutton and leaving the system on just 40%. Hill Pass Sai saw a brief pirate attack in the week, but such was the ferocity of the trucker response, they thought better of it and disappeared back up their own fundament. LP532-81 is being attacked by terrorists, which may sound terrible, but from a BGS point of view, I have no issue with it as they're on 77%, which is just, well, wrong. Am I saying that truckers should go in there and shoot some pirates? No, I'm not. Maybe next week, when they've reduced its influence levels the hard way. Let this be a lesson, LP532-81, and the rest of you stop dumping data there just because it's an LYR system. The push for control of Wolf 562 continues with Hutton still hovering a dozen points or so adrift of Wolf 562 Major Inc., the controlling faction, who are on only 39%. Let's maintain the effort, people. It's only a matter of time. At the overachieving end of the Hutton Systems table, we have 6 systems above 60%, 3 of which are over 70, and so we're expanding again. Remember, peeps, don't boost or dump data into systems that are above 60%, or we just waste an expansion and waste time and effort withdrawing. Priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, Avic and Ross671 need a boost, and if an opportunity opens later in the week to assist Barnard Star, be all over it like a cheap Maverick suit.
The community is busy with events and expeditions, and this week we've heard from All the Clouds in the Sky, the Magellan Experience, the Nexus Exploration, Trip Omega Phase 2, Just the Sun Still Rise in the East, Buckyball Races and the Aquarian Job, Bobby Burns Bonkers Send-Off. Links will of course be posted in Twitch chat and also in the description of the YouTube upload. Listening to Commander Deluvian's expedition All the Clouds in the Sky report this week, I can't help but feel that it's all sounding a bit ice cold in Alex, and that beer may very soon feature in these weekly updates.
Expedition Day 185, Messier 78. Yes, we're still here, but it looks like there is something we need to do. First of all, though, I just wanted to say that I miss my regular transmissions, and it feels very empty without those. Walking the long corridors of the Zodiac, I feel just lonely. Back then, when I was able to meet regularly with the crew, everything felt more lively. And it's not that we've lost contact overall, but short messages can't replace real interactions. I just hope that one day we'll be back on track and our standard routines will come back to normal. Oh, as I said, we need to do something. We all know that Brewer Corp sent a couple of interesting advertisements in regards to outfitting new modules for their carriers. I'm absolutely up for it, and even if xenobiological discoveries are not necessarily the priority, I surely need a drink, and so does the entire crew, I suppose. Outfitting a nice tavern and hiring a bartender is definitely a priority for me. Sitting in my office, I've planned everything, and I think that tonight, or at most in a day or two, the Zodiac will turn around and as quickly as possible return to one of the carrier service locations to introduce the necessary improvements. Stay tuned, Commanders. 07.
Commander Richard Flurines M has news of the remaining pilots in his expedition.
The Magellan experience is approaching its end, but it's not quite there yet. While the Richard is a limpet fleet carrier is almost at the end of the expedition, the other carriers are slowly going towards the last waypoints as the expedition got a 1 month extension for those who are behind. Nevertheless, a great number of people have finished the expedition, and we hope that they might come for more when the gates open this summer.
Commander Caboose has an update from Nexus, including news of our favourite fleet carrier. After the announcement of the Pilots Federation affecting hot boxes and hot PSs, the Gary Hogan has stalled its departure until the plans for allowing pilots to transfer to a new body, complete with legs, are announced. Hopefully, the ownership of the Gary Hogan will be transferred along with its funds and resources over to a non-hotbox holder. The Legacy of Dawn, however, after a unanimous vote from the crew, will begin its return journey to the bubble this Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, ending its extended stay in deep space. The Gary Hogan, once transfer is completed, will then be funded and prepped for an indefinite stay at Outpost Demilade. The Legacy will depart with a live stream on the Nexus official Twitch channel, showcasing the much anticipated Fleet Carrier Interiors update. Commander Radiums has taken time from a busy schedule of exploring to tell us how Trip Omega's going.
Trip Omega, Titan Contractor's latest expedition trip, continues its second phase of its journey. Since our last update, an additional 7 generation ships have been explored. The famed Golconda, Hyperion, Lazarus Expedition, Lycaon, Odysseus, Phanes and Phobos. 4 more generation ships remain and will be followed by interesting sites in and around the bubble, including Meter Hollow, Betelgeuse, as well as a system containing several black holes, an abandoned settlement in the Coalsack Nebula leading to the start of the Azimuth Saga, and more. Likewise, in theme with Update 11, the Solaris has also received a refit of its livery, adding a new service and giving the carrier a fresher look, which is all tied into our narrative as well. Additionally, 200 million credits is still up for grabs for one commander who wins our trip challenges, which will conclude on the 21st of March. Check out our website and Discord for more information. Fly safe!
Expedition Does the Sun Still Rise in the East? Is well underway, and its leader has sent us this message on the back of a "Wish You Were Here" postcard.
Commander the Presence here again. Week 2 into the expedition and things are pleasantly pleasant. Been to some lovely places such as the boxing ring at WEPAE EGY G1378 and did indeed crash into the ring around the M-class star, but luckily with only minor damage to my modules. It was one of those now you don't, now you see it moments, which proves that when flying in space, adrenaline is brown coloured. Happily enough, there was a carrier near the Triple Ripple, try saying that without sniggering, system at waypoint 3, so in exchange for all my cartographic data, my panels were bashed out and my back door was bashed in place. A good friend of mine, Commander the Huntsman, is already succumbing a little to space madness, I think, as he's keeping pace with me on the expedition, but has plotted his route so far almost exclusively using black holes and Herbig stars. I've talked to him at length about this, and yes, he was lying back in his pilot seat as psychiatrist chairs are pretty hard to find out here. And the most lucid answer I could get from him was that he was determined, nay obsessed, with finding an Earth-like world around a Herbig star. At the last count, he has visited over 200 of these with a sprinkling of 65 black holes. This is very impressive, especially as he forgot his fuel scoop. Still, if this is what floats his candle, then more power to his arm, and I hope he finds what he's looking for. I might tell him to check the dark side of every Earthlight just in case there are lights on, though. In the meantime, I just hope he remembers my advice to combat space madness. Never answer the door, no matter how loudly they knock. Till next week, TTFN.
Those buckyball racers never seem to rest. Something about they can't catch you if you don't stop running. But Alec Turner has been able to smuggle out this announcement. Right then folks, it's time to dust off those cobras and get them shipped across to London Relay in the Epsilon Indy system. Race week is nearly upon us again. Starting this coming Saturday, 19th of March, and running until following Sunday, 27th of March, we have the second race in the Magic 8 Ball Championship, a reboot of 3303's Aquarian Job. For this race, which includes a 15km SRV stage, you will need to race using Horizons, as the planetary terrain around Cooper Arena forms a significant part of this challenge. It's also a no shields race. Just power them off in the regulation Cobra class, with time bonuses for damage, so you can probably kiss your no claims bonus goodbye. Don't forget to hand in any exploration data before you start. Full details can be found in our forum thread. With thanks and appreciation to this month's race host, Brother Sabathius. Team Hotbox have arranged a memorial for one of their fallen commanders. Bobby Burns' bonkers send-off will take place Saturday 26th of March at 2000 UTC. Mr. Venetia had this to say.
This will be a memorial service for Bobby Burns, followed by some pirate hunting in memory of Bobby. We will meet at Bonker Station in Wolf 25. Please feel free to wear and skin your ship in pink for Bobby. We will hold a memorial service, share our favourite memories of Bobby, and raise a toast in his honour. PC commanders with the Xbox app installed are welcome to join us in party chat. It would be great to hear your voices. After the service, we will all head to Hazres, where we can shoot up some pirates and have some laughs in the style of Bobby.
There will be more about this sad story immediately after the news. Know of any events that we are not covering? Email itookpart@huttonorbital.com and fill us in with the details.
And we're back in the studio. Whew, that was a bumper set of news. But before we carry on with the show, we do have a message from Mia and all of Team Hotbox.
We lost one of the best ones this week. Hotbox's deck parking officer, Robert Burns, known to many of you as Wraith Bobby B, or just Bobby, passed away suddenly. We're still taking in his loss, and there are some things we are certain of. Bobby was a legend among Hotboxers and our wider community of truckers. We'll miss his laugh, which would have made Sid James blush, his uniquely hilarious turn of phrase, and his dodgily named ships. When Bobby arrived in party with a cheerful "knock knock bitches," you knew it was going to be a belter of an event. If he didn't blow you up, he would invent new games like Ride the Bobby. Don't ask, and whatever you do, don't Google that. He was warm, funny, chaotic, very, very naughty, and he was our friend. As Bobby makes his last big jump into the unknown, our thoughts are with his partner Michelle, his brother Simon, and all of his family and friends. Second start to the right and straight on till morning, Bobby. No, your other right, you dough-bender.
Thank you very much. And yes, from all of us, and not just Team Hotbox, we had spoken over the years on various chats and team chats, and we'll be missed. Everybody's taken that one a bit, caught us by surprise, really, didn't it?
Yeah.
But it's always terribly sad to have to read these kind of messages. But I'm hoping that his partner Michelle gained some small comfort to read all the lovely messages that were posted over on the Facebook page as well. I know you did invite Michelle to come and have a read of the messages that were being pasted.
I did, yeah, and she'd messaged to say that, thanks to everybody.
I
for
mean,
the
if
messages.
it's some small measure of at least how well regarded the complete dough bender was.
Yes.
And I'm saying that affectionately.
Yes.
Yes. Utter,
if anyone
utter
needs to know what a dough bender is, come and see me.
Yes, yeah. But
don't
well,
don't Google that either. Yeah.
I can only echo. Yes, funny and chaotic, utterly chaotic as well.
Absolutely. Mad. I mean, evening bitches or knock knock bitches was one of the phrases. The other one, I don't think I'm allowed to repeat on air, but yeah, you always knew when Bobby arrived in the party, it was just loud. And
yes.
That laugh, as I say, it was a laugh that would put Sid James to shame. It's by far the dirtiest laugh of us all.
And winner of a Naughty Trucker Award, I think, at the Muggies.
Yes. Well deserved as well, Naughty Trucker Award. I think that one specifically was for the Guardian incident.
Yes.
Which is...
Yeah. Have you got details handy there? Because I think we managed to dig out the old apology report as well.
I don't need details handy. I'll never forget it.
Right.
That was the one we'd invited just to make sure that there was, there were VIPs and things there. We'd invited along a couple of the community managers. So it was Stephen Benedetti and Arf, who had just started as a community manager, had come along to join in our little expedition, and we were going to go to the Guardian site and find some blueprints and do all the thing. So we were all there. There was a big crowd there. We all went to this Guardian site, and we all get into our SRVs and went out. And of course, what happens when you get at a Guardian site is one of the Sentinels pops up and starts shooting things. So two years went, no, a Sentinel. And Bobby was still in his ship, so his view is, I've got rockets, I'll get it. And he fired off a salvo of dumbfire rockets. And sure enough, he took out the Sentinel, but he also managed to take out two of his teammates. And I remember Corey specifically saying, I was one of them, and I remember Corey specifically saying, I just saw this explosion and your wheel come rolling out like something out of a movie. He says, and that was it. And then Bobby's gone, what? And they're like, you just killed two of us, Bobby. But yeah, so you knew something was going to happen,
One of many.
One of many.
One of very many. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you for all the lovely messages in the Twitch chat from everybody as well. It's lovely to see, and it's nice to know we're all amongst such good friends as well, albeit outrageous friends. So yeah, other than that, I mean, I can see our script, and we in True Star we're going to sort of move on to. Oh my goodness, what have you done to me, Commander Palantir?
Not me. Don't look at me.
No. Image, another image, picture.
Oh yeah.
Image.
Well, they're all in place.
So I'm gonna have to queue people up, and I'm just gonna drop these on people. We're not being joined by Aemilia this evening because Aemilia, I think, chose to go and have a lie down after trying that rare this week. You will find out why the next time Aemilia recovers. We're hoping that Aemilia regains her normal self. Nothing wrong. Just I think an excess of dangerous rares.
She's got a new perspective on the word burrowing, hasn't she?
Well, something like that. Yeah, and obviously to try out her new chair. And I'm just going to sort of skim ahead a couple of pages and flick a few pages over here because, there has been an update this week, which we mentioned heavily during the news. Now, I think that somebody's put a note in here about it, a little brief note. Commander Chicks, was this your pasting?
Pasting?
So wallpaper pasting of stuff all over the script.
No, I typed it.
Oh right.
What are you jumping ahead to?
No. I'm just saying you've dropped in something. We're not going to mention it now because I think reading ahead about 20 pages ahead, I think you've dropped in something about update. Which number is it, Apology Officer?
What?
What was the update this week?
10. The one between 10 and 12.
Yeah, that one. I can't remember.
11.
But the update is
11.
Somebody's been messing with the script.
Have they? Oh dear.
Because somebody's put that bit in there, which I'm just going to clip out.
Well, then you can't take scissors to my script halfway through, right?
And it's going to go like there.
Oh, okay. Get the Pritt stick.
Oh, you put it
just
there,
get the
right,
Pritt stick and stick it back. That's the wrong way up.
I've stuck my fingers together now.
Yeah.
Are we now doing script editing live?
We are doing with scissors. Somebody's going to end up with red on them, and it's probably going to be me.
God's sake.
See, that bit there relates
Just
to
read it.
what's around it.
Just read it.
Flossie, are you there?
Where? Yes.
Yeah, you know what we need, don't you?
The implement.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That was a one on the foreswing and one on the backswing as well.
Why don't we just be radical and do the script in order?
Oh, we could do.
Do what?
We could do if somebody had
Well,
broken.
before we do that, obviously, yeah. So
Blown
no Aemilia, and we have heard the Palantir, and we have heard the Apology Officer, and we have heard the chicks, and hiding in that throne, Flossie. That looks. I mean, apart from the pink cushion, it looks a little uncomfortable. I mean, melted down weapons. Are these captured weapons from your targets or something?
Not my targets. I don't get targets.
Or is it just from the people you hang around with? You've just picked up and tidied up after them and melted them into the shape of a chair.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Only after she killed them.
Well,
I don't kill them.
only slightly electrocuted. Yes.
Sorry, she beats them to unconsciousness. Let somebody else kill them for her.
We saw pictures of you doing combat. I'm sure we did.
On foot.
Yeah.
On foot.
Foot,
Doesn't
yeah.
count if you do it on foot.
Full combat.
Pierces her Dominator suit with a
It's just,
titanium knitting needle.
I can't fly and shoot things at the same time, but I can do it on foot.
You can fly and shoot on foot. Super Flossy, cape flapping in the imaginary breeze and underwear on the outside. Oh dear.
I can't. No, not fly. Just running on foot.
So you mean you bought yourself a Dominator suit?
Yes.
Oh, we've got to have pictures
Dominator
of this for
one
next
of the-
week. We've definitely got to have pictures of this for next week. We need pictures of Flossie in her combat suit, just to prove that, yes, Flossie and combat do mix.
Yeah, I came across a grade 3 Dominator. Thought, I don't know, shall I get it? And I bought it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Whoa.
Well, it's, a grade 3 one, you just buy it anyway. Surely.
Well,
There's many a
I
Tory
thought I'll
politician
never
had to go
use
through that
it,
as
but
when will I see an offer like this again?
There has been, yes, but there have been two people now comment that it can't be a Dominator suit, it's got to be a Dominatrix suit. I think that's a different thing
suit.
entirely. Yeah, no. We won't go there.
She told you what to do.
Less life support and more studs.
And we know who one of them is. Deadbeat, behave yourself.
Right. Enforcer Flossie, yes, indeed. Okay, well, look, the first article appears to be a science one. So,
Well, it is, and in what we started to when Frontier stopped doing their live streams, we used to do a bit about the James Webb Space Telescope.
The James Webb
Unfurling itself.
Launching, what it was all the build up to the launch was delayed twice, and all that. So this is the bit of the show where we usually talk about the James Webb Space Telescope instead of covering the live stream that wasn't happening. So is the picture up?
I don't know.
yes.
Yes.
If you mean the big star, telescope alignment evaluation image, yes.
Yes. So in the last 24 hours, the first proper image has come from the James Webb Space Telescope. And you might think, well, it's just a star, isn't it? But this thing is 2,000 light years away, and it's actually a brown dwarf. So
That's a brown dwarf.
that's a brown dwarf.
Wow.
So that's like a big Jupiter. And don't forget you see it in infrared, so it's not visible light. And it's,
Yeah, but look at how bright it is in infrared. It looks huge.
and that sort of six-pointed effect is due to the mirrors, the shape of the mirrors.
Yeah.
But it's 100 times fainter than you could see with your eye, if of course you could see it in infrared. So
Yeah.
it's and what I do like about this picture is you see the galaxies in the background.
Oh, they're not other stars. They're actually galaxies.
No, if you
Wow.
look closely, they're galaxies in the background. So it's the
Jeez,
first
so they are.
known example of galactic photobombing. It's not bad for
You
them.
photobombed by a whole galaxy.
I mean, that's being trumped, isn't it? I mean, look at me, I'm a star, and there's this galaxy in the background
I
just
don't
chuckling.
know that star is with the 6 points like that. That star is very
That's
impressive.
the most famous that star will probably ever be in its entire existence.
Well,
is
just
exactly,
right
right?
now.
Let's just hold on a minute. Is that star in game?
Right. Well, should we ask the chat channel to look up? Well, I tell you what. Should we paste in the star name? You want to read it out while I paste it?
Yeah. So it's 2 mass J1755 40 42 plus 655 1277.
Somebody should be able to copy that and get it straight.
We do know
that's for the nerds in the chat.
We do know that the 2 mass star catalogue is included, but it may be under a different name. So there might be some detective work here. So
it's unlikely to be under 2 mass.
If that's in game, I'm going there.
Been to one of those systems, 2 mass.
Yeah, there's thousands and thousands of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's. So it won't be long. Won't be long until James Webby's fully operational. Reminds me of a line from a famous film of the 70s. About the power of the station.
They expect it to be ready by about June, don't they?
Yes, yeah. They've done 5 out of the 7 sort of commissioning tasks. And the Miri instrument, the one that needs to be really cold, needs to get down to 7 Kelvin. It's about 90 Kelvin at the moment, and that's like proper cold. That's proper brass.
I mean, that's cold enough it would snap off if you
exactly.
if you bumped it. Yes.
I mean, you'd need a hat and a scarf, wouldn't you? Like Doctor Who or that bloke I keep seeing mooching around the fleet carriers.
Sci-Fi 88 man's had a wee look, and he can't find it in the Star Catalogue yet.
I had a look. I'll do it in a little bit, but I'm joking. I had a look earlier, and it does have a Wikipedia page now, which basically says this star became famous in March 2020.
March 2020?
March 2020?
2022.
Yeah.
Not enough.
You've lost 2 years due to COVID, remember?
I have, yeah. So where did they go? So anyway, now this is what we do. Now there's no Frontier live streams.
Well, no, you say that. You say, why are we doing this instead of talking about the Frontier live stream? But there was a Frontier live stream.
There was?
There was.
Really?
And it was hours and hours long.
What
but
do you
it started
mean
earlier.
there was a Frontier live stream? Oh.
Anyway, well, it's renamed, rebranded, back in the studio, new Frontier live streams once a week.
Yep.
And this one was cunningly entitled
Frameshift Live, Episode 1.
At 1600 UTC. Obviously, UTC only counts, I'd imagine, until the clocks change, which is soon. Unless, of course, you're in America, when I think they changed already, which has probably confused everybody.
And especially there's a vote going through to try and do away with daylight saving time in America altogether.
Well, we should do away with it, yeah.
Well, it just confuses this whole radio station. I mean, we can't exactly operate on Hutton time the entire time, otherwise everything would always be late. But, and as our sartorial expert there, Commander Chicks,
well,
do you have any commentary on obviously, how they all looked? We haven't seen them for a while.
Well, yeah, we saw 2 of them about 3 weeks ago, or have you lost the last 3 weeks due to that hangover?
I have no memory of that at all, no.
So we had Bruce and Arth fronting up, sat at the table in a fleet carrier lobby somewhere. Bruce rocking the sort of double denim theme, and for some reason Arth had gone all scientific. He was wearing a very nice NASA T-shirt, because I heard he was taking up space.
Oh, hang on, Flossy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Good job done. That was a terrible pun. That was.
Upset him, and then you'll be Dyson with death.
That was just. Oh, dearie me. Anyway, apology officer.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
You're I mean, you're someone who likes free stuff, aren't you?
Always.
And there was a return of something else this week.
Don't even get me started. I am halfway to a Type 9 paint job, and they cut me off.
Oh no, because introduce why you were halfway, or how you managed to get halfway.
I was halfway. Well, if you tune into the Twitch stream, they have reintroduced Twitch drops, and if you stay tuned for an hour or 2 hours, you get a paint job, or 2 paint jobs, and the first lot are
a wee little jobby.
No, they're no jobbies. They're Type 9 paint jobs, so they're big jobbies. So you get spring calm and spring lax. Yeah.
Sounds like
a sort of pastel green and lilac with pink and purple flowers.
Yeah, we've got them up on screen now. We have a space cow up.
Yeah. Look. Bring them up, because I want to see what they actually look like. I mean,
green with pink flowers.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on a couple.
Yep.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Spring calm and spring
I want
lax.
that.
Yeah.
I need to see. Yeah.
So Twitch drops have returned. Now they've still got the purple ones though, my favourite ones that I can't see.
Your purple stuff in your
by
face
tuning
tattoos.
in, I think it's every 15 and half an hour, whatever, it sort of adds up, and you get all the purple ones. And there's a tattoo, and there's a ship ID, and there's purple SRVs and purple flight suits. But then there's the big drops, which are the Type 9 sized ones, and they are seasonal. So at the moment we have the spring ones,
and I'm assuming that soon we'll have the summer ones.
Yeah,
the autumn ones.
You mean they drop off in the autumn, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Everything drops off in the autumn, Sean.
Or
you know
in the
that.
winter, depends how cold it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so they've got these ones, and then obviously we've got. So when are we now? January, February. Oh my goodness, March. So these ones you need to get by the end. I think there were 2 more shows before the end of the month. Yep. Of which are going to be 2 hours each, so there's enough time if you do watch the live streams to get these ones.
Yeah.
And then it'll move for the next one into the summer set, of which there are something like 50 hours, or goodness knows, of live streams to get the summer ones. Which I mean, they might be bright yellow, or
it can be quite tricky for those of us who go to work though, and have to come home very quickly.
Oh, just fire it up on your mobile, put mute on, and leave it under the desk. I'm sure it'll be fine.
You could get it on your phone and just leave it. And,
I never thought of it.
Sound off in a drawer.
Yeah,
I don't like to do that though. I like to actually watch it if I'm going to get something for watching it. You know.
Well, you can watch it on YouTube or Twitch later.
On the train on the way home.
And it looks like, obviously, so they did, same as we did at the start of this show, they tooled around in a carrier interior. I'm actually rigged up so I can show the hot property interior, should we want, while we're vaguely bantering and things on screen, or not, as the case may be.
Yeah, show us.
Yeah, so let me fire that up while we're talking. So that we can see it. So give me a minute or so to log in. So they tooled around in one of the fleet carriers at the start of the show. They obviously addressed the aardvark in the room.
I'm pretty sure Sci-Fi 88 man is Jimmy. Do you remember Jimmy Dunn?
Jimmy the Mug, yes.
Jimmy the Mug. It's Jimmy the Mug, and Jimmy's saying they're for the Type 9, and it reminds them of the Japan flowers that you see in DC.
Oh yeah, a bit like sort of these long boulevards lined with lovely blossom on. Yes.
Yeah, cherry blossom, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I have a cherry blossom story. Luckily, my wife isn't listening. But it's she's not technical. My wife. Yeah, many years ago for work, she went to DC for a conference. And she took long before the days of smartphones, had a little digital camera. Which she took, and she was wandering around down by the reflecting pools and all that, down by the Capitol building, and it's all very interesting. And
did she get dragged away by Secret Service?
No, it said she contacted me and said the camera says it's full. And obviously, these are the days before you have 64 gigabyte cards.
Oh yeah,
so you should have taken hundreds, and I couldn't work out what the heck it was she'd done. Well, when she got back, we found out she'd actually put it onto video.
Yeah.
Pressed the start button, and so we ended up with about 30 seconds of her feet. As she was carrying us on.
Some people are into that.
Yes, well, since then, as a little fetish in our household, whenever pictures of Washington come up, we both put our feet up in front of it so we can recognise it.
Oh, yes. That's nice. Cherry blossom trees around Washington DC. Yeah, Jimmy's saying it reminds him of the cherry blossom trees around Washington DC.
How can you tell without your foot in front of it?
Up on screen now, we do have the Hutton Hot Property Carrier, complete with the Shady Lady, up on screen at the moment.
I see it.
Yeah, as we're sort of bantering away, I thought I would
Was that a big pair of comedy feet flashing up in front when you were moving there?
Comedy feet? No, that's
I thought it was like a big pair of cartoon comedy feet.
Hang on, they're down there. Look, the comedy feet they're all the way down there.
There they are. It's the
Comedy
shadows
hands.
of your arms.
Comedy hands.
It's the shadows of your comedy hands.
Yes. Right. So I'm there. And so what's next on our list? You've put sticky tape all over the script. My fingers are sticky now as well. So there was some chat, obviously, about the aardvark in the room.
Yes.
Is that somebody want to bring us up to date about the aardvark in the room?
Well, on the little table in the lobby, Bruce and Zach had a couple of mugs in front of them.
They had that.
Yes.
And one of them was a buckyball racing mug.
Ooh.
Suit you, sir.
And we all know what the other one was. It was Hutton mug. So it prompted lots of people, if you could actually read the chat, it was like the sports results, the teletype whizzing past. Because it was, obviously we had a live stream for a while, so everybody and his dog was on it. And I could barely keep up with the quantity of chat whizzing past. But one of the themes often was we should have Hutton mugs as cockpit sort of bobbly items.
Yeah. Either a Hutton mug or an Alvin.
That was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's that wasn't quite the aardvark that I was talking about. That's the other aardvark. But obviously, there is an important point of order here that neither of the two gentlemen on screen have actually earned a Hutton mug, which means
I was wondering where the hell they got it.
They have robbed someone.
They've robbed Sally's desk, haven't they? Yeah.
Yes. And has anybody told Sally yet that?
Well, the pink's away.
Yeah. So we might have to put out, a bounty on both of those gentlemen for robbing a Hutton mug, because you're not allowed to have one.
Well, I think Arthur might have a radio mug, doesn't he? He's been on radio. He might have a radio mug, but he's not got a Hutton mug.
No, I don't think he's got a radio. No, definitely sure he doesn't have one. And of course, the thing is, if you do have bubbles with a mug, that means you could get it with arcs, which you can put cash in, which means you could then, in effect, buy a Hutton mug. And I'm not sure we want that.
Yeah.
Oh, very good point.
Can't be buying Hutton mugs.
No. But no, your other elephant was a very, very important point right at the beginning, and Arthur put his butch voice on. And
his very, very serious voice.
Well, when the announcement about carriers came out in consoles, and there was a lot of very disappointed and upset.
Absolutely,
and even some anger, and some of that spilt over into entirely wrong levels, including death threats, for God's sake.
Oh no! Come on.
Yeah, and very, very rude messages, and entirely inappropriate stuff. So Arthur's put his foot down. Anyone who does that, you're out.
Yeah.
Your account's going.
I mean, I get being disappointed.
If you've got an accounting game, it's gone. Yeah.
I get being disappointed. I get being fed up. I get being angry. But no, it's a game at the end of the day. You know what I mean? If you don't like it that much, go and play something else.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to remember the number one Hutton rule.
Be excellent to each other.
Yes, and party on.
I was going to say never leave cubicle 3 unflushed, but
that doesn't need writing down, obviously. Common sense. Yes.
That's why it needs writing down.
Yeah, we stand 100% behind Arthur on that one.
Yeah, I definitely do as well. That's a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, also, these people, I mean, we do have to remember that, for instance, Arth was a player and a Hutton trucker, part of the Hutton Orbital Facebook group, before.
I'll qualify that even further.
Yeah.
Arth was an Xbox player.
An Xbox player himself as well. There you go.
Yeah.
So he's technically Team Hotbox.
Yeah, no, he is Team Hotbox. Yeah.
Yeah, he mentioned in the stream that he plays on both. In fact, on the stream, he was using an Xbox game controller.
Yeah,
I noticed.
He's played for his sofa before on Xbox. So no, he's definitely an Xbox.
So just I think it's a message to everybody. Number one, remember to be excellent to each other, and number two, don't be a dick. But they amount to the same thing.
And also, it's worth remembering that sometimes the person who delivers the news isn't the person who decided it in that news.
Yes.
Well, that's because my paperboy kept telling me that when I kept punching him, but you know.
Yeah. So obviously they did. There's been a lot of questions about all things like transfers and all of those shenanigans. When they say they're looking into it, they are actually looking into it. It isn't as straightforward. Creating a commander with all the credits that you had previously, well, that's relatively straightforward. But if you look at how complex your inventory is and complex all the engineering and everything else is, it isn't just a case of, copy row A to row B in databases. It is actually quite a complex thing. All your permissions and your permits.
It's
and
every ship and that ship's outfitting. And where that ship
is, engineers you've unlocked, and all.
Which engineers you've unlocked, which kit you have, where you've been, what you've done, how many people hate you, why,
whether your modules have committed criminal activity or whatever they keep telling me. There's a lot to track, so it's not straightforward.
So
whatever can be done will be done. Yes.
And the other side of that is it's great to transfer your stuff across, but to be worthwhile, you have to have a PC that's capable of running Odyssey.
Yes, yeah.
Or at least you could have a PC that could do Horizons for now, and at least know when you can afford to get one for Odyssey.
Well, what you do there is you continue on Xbox until you had that PC.
Well, see, there is one of the complexities that if the person doesn't yet have Odyssey, but is it going to store all the stuff they had in Odyssey until such time as they do? It is not as straightforward as all that, and but they do give a monkeys, and they are trying, is all we can really say about it. Anyway, we don't want to turn to Lave Radio too much. Anyway, we've been wandering around while you've been chattering about that one. I have been wandering around the carrier a little bit. I've been over to the ready room. Now, I've got no extra services on this one, so I actually have plotted a jump for a little bit. I think it's 12 minutes away from now, so it may be in between some of the other bits. We might actually get to the destination, and I'm going to buy a bar. A whole bar.
You're buying a bar?
Yes, during the show, I'll buy a bar.
A Yorkie bar or a...
a Texan bar.
Texan.
Yeah, because that's chewy.
Yes. So, fleet carrier interiors. They were wandering around looking at them. Yes, there are closed doors in these things. So if you've got a carrier and you haven't yet bought the extra stuff, and you can do, and you wander around the concourse, there are a couple of, sort of closed doors. I'm just wandering back to them now as we're talking, and those closed doors have other areas of the ship that even you, as the commander, are locked out of until you spend more money. So is in this bit? No, it's not in this bit. It's down in this corner. Oh, escape pods. Yes, you do have escape pods as well. I'm not going to try one of those because last time I did that, I ended up stranded. You see this armadillo sort of style roller door here, and that one there, that's where your bar and your Vista Genomics and whatever else might be. So they're all closed off to me at the moment, but hopefully during the show I'll be able to open one of those up. You do get a little computer control panel in this layout. I think I've gone for the research layout on this one. You do get one computer control panel, or two, there you go, one each side, where you can get your carrier services. Now, there have been lots of requests, apparently, and I understand them, because people actually, when they sit down in the commander's chair, want to be able to command. So there are lots of people saying, why can't I open this kind of a screen so I can command my carrier when I'm in my commander's seat? To which the community team said, yeah, good point, we're passing that one on. There were a couple of others, like, can I honk the horn? I think at the start of the show you may have heard the big horn on the hot property going off. Yes, we'd all love a big red button that makes you honk the horn. We'd love that. And loads of other little pieces like, can we scan a system from within our fleet carriers? There are some great ideas coming out. So they've dropped this on us as a new thing, but there are some fantastic ideas coming out of the community of things they would like to do. And they are listening, and they're taking detailed notes. In
your fleet carrier, come on.
Yep.
You've sat in the command deck seat, haven't you?
Yes, yeah. I'm just wandering back up there at the moment, actually, just so I can sit down before I jump. I don't want to end up, going the full ludicrous speed.
And I bet you said, just as you're about to jump, you said, "Make it so," didn't you? Come on. Own up, because we won't laugh.
I didn't. I think I was too busy going woo at all the lightning that was going off in front of me at the time, and I had left the subwoofer on under the desk, and it was in danger of going the full brown noise on me as well when the lightning kicked off. So yeah. So
you could pretend you had a very small model railway and go engage. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they're for model railway enthusiasts out there.
Now they did. Talking of model railways and models, they did show off that model.
There's about 2 people sitting in a loft laughing their asses off at that.
That's more than I usually get. I'll take it.
Tush. They did show off the model of the fleet carrier that looks just like the fleet carrier that's in front of me at the moment on screen. I think we showed it off last week.
Jaguarius.
Jaguarius. They did sort of discuss whether Jaguarius was allowed to be pronounced like that, but yes.
Not for us, Jaguarius.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've kind of got to go night shift on that one, haven't you?
Yeah.
To make it work.
But I have to say, now that I can sit here and look down, the actual docking bay there, it just done a stunning job on making a model that looks just like what I can see in front of me from my chair here as well. Now, Flossy.
Yeah?
You've been taking selfies a lot this week.
Yes.
Which involves Flossy. A woman walks into a bar. Yes. And anyway, I'm gonna sit down by the window here while we're waiting. But yeah, so Flossy goes into a bar, and you've been taking a selfie of yourself, looking quite concerned about something. Generally staring into the middle distance with a frown on your face on the selfie.
Oh, I've got a frown on my face in there.
Well,
you don't.
That's because there was a bottle of Mega Gin and no glass.
Yeah, and sitting on one of those fake seats.
I wish you could smile.
Well,
because that is not me at all.
Once you've had a drink inside, you know.
You're going to have to go to the Commander Holomy page and do yourself some plastic surgery and upturn the mouth of the corners.
So
you can't. I wish you could.
Well, aren't there are some pictures where you can see your commander actually grinning from ear to ear as well. I can't remember which of the screens it is, but all of a sudden your very stoic commander, all of a sudden they've got a great big beaming smile on their face. Either that or it's one of those deep fakes. I don't know. A hollow deep fake.
It's not when you do the thumbs up sign, is it? The thumbs up emoticon, it smiles.
No, it's on one of the pictures, like one of the commander pictures in one of the outfitting screens, or I don't know. So they did that. They showed off the models. They went back to doing the Stellar screenshots. They then faked up their own Stellar screenshot and claimed it was utterly original and definitely not derivative in any way. They talked about the community meetup. Including the best worst raffle
they remember.
Ever. Yes,
it's a shame you don't remember it, David.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember who won 2 prizes.
I did.
You did.
Well, I was embarrassed, so I gave the ticket away quickly.
Ah, right. And Nocti, I think, won some headphones. There is a new dun dun dun. Now, Flossy, they're stepping on your toes here. And Palantir, with all the hard work you put into all the community events.
Well,
imitation. Where have got that idea from?
Imitation is the best form of flattery.
I suppose so. They've got a little website that's a community calendar where you can submit community events for people to take part in as well. Or we could just listen to Flossy, which is far more entertaining.
But I think from what I've seen, it is just a diary entry to show that there are things there. I don't think it'll have the same kind of interaction that we have, where people will tell us what the heck they're doing.
The same passion, flair, and
If you click on the calendar entry, it does pop up into a bigger page, which gives you more details and stuff. So,
you can steal the information from there.
Do you know what theirs won't have as well?
That'll save me a couple of hours a week.
Do you know what theirs won't have as well? Theirs won't have a Flossy choking on a sweetie.
No.
Every week.
It won't. Every pocket munching.
Week.
I'm this week.
But they had a community calendar, and they showed this most phenomenal trailer, the Titan Contractors Trip Omega trailer.
That's why we showed it a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was
once again, imitation. There we go. I'm sat down at another part of the ship now. They had stellar screenshots. Oh, now they also admitted not only did they steal a Hutton mug, but Arf admitted another robbery as well.
Well, that's not robbery. That's embezzlement.
Embezzlement, yes. Well, no, he actually says he got contacted by some rich prince somewhere, probably one of these imperial types, who sends an email saying, "I've got 5 billion credits to give to you," and we all know you shouldn't reply to those, but apparently he did, And then 5 billion credits turned up, and then he just went on a spending spree and bought a shipyard, and then bought all the ships for the shipyard and had spare cash. So it wasn't just 5 billion credits, it was more like 50. Yeah. So the first thing he did was went to prop up the bar, which, as you say here, how art imitates life. Yes. Now, I haven't shown some of the images yet because I was too busy wandering around my own fleet carrier as well. I'll probably go back to rotating those images about. Now,
it's not the particular problem that you've missed. So, go on.
There's a prompt in here about the Gary Hogan.
Gary Hogan. I went to school with him. He used to pretend to be twins so he get 2 dinner tickets, you know.
Oh, Gary Hogan.
That Gary Hogan, greedy bastard.
We love Gary Hogan.
Yeah.
It's Barry Drogan.
Yep.
No. Barry Drogan was the basketball team.
Now, Commander...
Size 17 feet.
Size 17 feet?
Yeah.
Is that in American 17?
Well, he'd one size 17 foot. The other one we don't know about so much.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. I think it might have been a 12.
Okay, well... that's scary.
See I don't want to see the word.
I don't want to. Yeah.
It's time for
I don't want to.
David.
I was about to say some other words there, and I'm going to trip over and say something really rude. I wouldn't want to bump into somebody with size 17 feet down a dark alley. That's all I'm
He's not got a size 17 feet. He's got a size 17 foot.
There'd be a clown.
I could be.
He's not got a size 17 feet. He's got a size 17 foot and a size 12 foot.
Fair enough. Oh, carrier services are now offline on board the hot property.
Woo!
Yeah, we have 2 minutes and 52 seconds till the jump. Now, Commander Asylum's also been investigating fleet carriers, and there is a picture to show that collars and cuffs do match, apparently.
Yes. Sorry, no, the views from the inside and the outside coincide. Yes, he did do that.
Yes.
He went to that effort so we don't have to.
So if somebody lands their anaconda on the deck, you can sit inside and watch somebody landing their anaconda on the deck.
Look, yeah, he actually went outside outside the bridge and could see inside what was going on. Yes, so that match was quite good.
Pictures then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we did that with the Hutton Bar, didn't we? When we first had inside.
Yes,
we did that one.
It didn't match when we started.
Now, we do have, because we have 2 minutes and 10 seconds before the jump happens. The sound is off, by the way. We're not going to scare everybody.
Right.
We do have a birthday this week. In fact, we have a birthday today amongst the Hutton crew. Yes.
The birthday today?
It's Folkotuk.
Oh, right, okay.
And Hackswing is Hackswing's birthday. 1 minute 50 seconds.
Hackswing.
Yeah, we better get through it quickly.
2, 1.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Folkotuk and Hackswing. I just smell like 1, 2.
And many more. Yes, and then there's also a celebration of everything turning green. Apart from the black stuff, which
do not put green food colouring in Guinness, or somebody will come round and give you a tap on the back of the head.
Yeah, well, and do not put blue colouring in the Centaurian Mega Gin because otherwise it comes out green, and we know that, don't we?
Yeah. Dead Meat said Tigger just ran out of the room.
Well, we have 60 seconds. Shall I turn the sound back on for this bit again for people?
Yeah.
Let's. Do I have the sound back? I better turn the sound back on here, quick, in the menus. Oh, I better go to menus.
I got a tap.
It doesn't let me go to menus. It's
the Hutton Duck. It's the Hutton Duck.
No, we are locked out of menus because we're jumping in 40 seconds. So you're not going to.
Yeah, you are.
Yep. I can't even quit to menu here. That's it.
Oh, we've got sound. Well,
no, that was me.
Yes. 30 seconds until jump.
You know, it's always me if there's. If
everyone sit down. The red light bulb's gone.
Oh, it's
I don't have an arse yet.
Oh, there's the crew are poking buttons. They're leaning forwards and poking buttons. Apart from the guy who's playing, I don't know, something on his tablet computer. That's all he does all day. I pay him to do that. He's there and poke around on a tablet all day.
He's doing the owner's 360 report.
Here we go.
His performance review.
It looks like things are happening. It's all gone dark.
Can you put your feet up in front of the view so we're...
Here we go. Lightning's going off. It's there's smoke. Yep.
Oh. Yeah, there's definitely smoke now. I smell of burning.
There's going to be flame soon too.
Well, it's before we're now in jump. We are in which space? Woohoo! It's all gone swirly. No one has vomited yet. No one's getting upset. So before we land at the destination, because the timing's about right, because we can now move on possibly to Flossy's bit in a second. Do we have any other things to mention?
Engage the engines.
You have to say the word.
No. I'm checking. There's nothing else first.
No, there's two things. I'd like to when you come out there. There's one image there. There's a bit of news about it. It's Flossy's 60th anniversary. It is actually the 60th anniversary of in the National Museum of Computing. There's a computer called Flossy, which they're doing a virtual event for. Join us to mark the 60th anniversary of the ICT 1301 with the launch of a virtual 3D interactive and immersive experience.
60-year-old that's never going to run that.
Well, it's probably it's just
no, they won't even have Windows.
It's going to be an emulator, isn't it? But
it's younger than me.
Yes. and so it's coming at the National Museum of Computing on Saturday the 30th of April, and that piece of news was passed to us by Alvin's dearest friend Snoz, with a little note to say that his father used to work for ICT, not Alvin's.
No, and Alvin's great grandfather maybe, but
I do have one image there, the one marked "The Presence." Do you have that queued up, sir?
No, he's
fancy. Just stop
fanning about with menus.
Stop fanning about.
It says you're the technical.
I was trying to buy a bar. Hang on a second. I need to
just leave it. Leave it.
No, hang on a second. I've got to turn this one off. You see, I'm going to turn that one off, and now I have to turn.
Has he gone rogue?
This one back on.
Yeah.
Here we go. No, I was trying to buy a bar, but I realised I can't afford a bar because I spent it all on a carrot. Tell me when I get the image. Which image are we looking for?
The Presence.
The Presence. There we go. There it is on screen.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not. No, that's all of them. No. Yes.
That one.
The one before Flossy.
Looks like a walnut.
That one.
Yes.
No.
There we go. The walnut.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
When I received the set of pictures, we'll wait for
it
to go through. Yes. When I received a set of pictures from the Presence to illustrate the does the sun still rise in the east? We both decided that this picture really was a little maybe. Shouldn't be, but it's not. It's sort of an 18.
Get to the point.
One. It's an 18 certificate one. This looks like sort of something that the
Flossy. You want to get a run up on this one? Ready? Yeah.
The long distance pilot might wish to have to accompany him in the cockpit.
There we go.
Does it look like a walnutty vagina? Is that what you're saying?
No, you didn't go there. You did not just go there on the radio show.
Yes, it is.
Oh, there's more seams than a Oh my.
Time for a safe word. Okay.
All right. Are we ready to do everything else?
We need the safe word.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to hand over to Flossy, and I'm going to see whether I can scrape together enough cash to leave me with zero and buy a bar. So Aardvark. Wait.
Look, wait. Banter, nearly all from the banter section. But before the bit you've all been waiting for, that's Flossy with the CG News. We've just got time for me to do my mind-reading act. Now, it's different from those you used to. I'm going to concentrate, think of a word, and I want you to shout it out.
Aardvark!
Oh, bugger, you got it. Look, it's on this piece of paper. You see, you guessed it.
Yay!
It's not even in the
script. For the love of God.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy, and the community goes.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's Community Goals News. There were no CGs last week, so nothing to report on there. This week we have one new CG, maintain security in Gliese 868. Federal authorities have requested help in hunting down a notorious pirate gang in the Gliese 868 system. The call to arms was broadcast by the faction Gliese 868 services. Recently, most federal security services have been focused on dealing with political protests. This provided opportunities for criminals to cause havoc by raiding trade convoys and committing piracy against ships throughout the region. With the aid of congressional funding, we have initiated a campaign to destroy all wanted vessels operating within our system. Independent pilots have requested to help us eliminate the threat that these criminals pose and claim the bounties placed on them. In a statement to the newsfeed, Secretary of State Lana Berkovich said, "Public interest in the Hudson Convention is intense, with feelings running high on both sides." And I've just lost my place, sorry. The script suddenly jumped. I'll just find it again, sorry. Public interest in the Hudson Convention is intense, with feelings running high on both sides. But it is regrettable that this has tied up our security forces and given free rein to these felons. All members of Congress have agreed that, with the support of the galactic community, we must make an example of them to deter further criminality. Bounty vouchers can be redeemed at Bacon Port in Gliese 868. The campaign is expected to run until 24th of March 3308. To earn reward, you must sign up as an active participant before handing in bounty vouchers at Bacon Port in Gliese 868. Only bounty vouchers handed in after signing up will count towards your personal contribution total. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Thank you, Flossy. And now it's time to go over to the two people that are only ever seen on Galnet together. The pair of digesters that we've given the nickname B-Spoon. Commanders Beetlejuice and Witherspoon.
Galnet News Digest, 17th of March 3308. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, the Federation has a problem with protesters. We have some fun with fleet carriers, and Brewer Corporation has some real issues with their decal allocation policy.
The Federation has appealed for assistance heading off a crime wave in the Gliese 868 system, admitting that federal security services are overwhelmed dealing with the civil unrest caused by the prospect of Zachary Hudson running for a third term in 3309. Hudson is trying to change the law that prevents corrupt dictators from staying in power forever, but the people of the Federation don't seem to be particularly keen on the idea, and the resulting riots have led to Shadow President Winters likening the Federation under Hudson to a police state. But it's a police state where stifling dissent takes priority over solving crime, which is why the Gliese 868 Services faction has appealed to independent pilots to do the policing in their system. The way it works is this: you scan a ship, and if it comes up as wanted, you obliterate it. And everyone and everything in it. And Gliese 868 Services pays you handsomely for your trouble. No matter whether it's a string of murders or a parking offence, the approach is the same. Scan, destroy, get paid. Whoever said the Federation isn't civilised? If you'd like to get in on the whole maintaining law and order thing, Baconport is the place to go. It's where the pigs hang out.
Thargoids have invaded 3 more systems in the bubble, causing no damage to stations, but they're there nonetheless, hanging round street corners, looking ugly. Aegis, the theoretically defunct anti-Thargoid agency, has installed megaships in each of the systems and is encouraging commanders to fight the tentacled aliens off. The newly visited systems are HIP 38225, Pokemon and Partheni. An Alliance commander has reported 2 instances where fleet carriers experienced instability in the hyperspace tunnel. In both cases the jumps were to HIP 39768, the ancient Guardian system that currently hosts the Musashi fleet carrier, and in both cases there were meta-alloys on board. There is unfortunately no video evidence of this happening, so it's currently in a reported but unconfirmed state. If anybody else experiences anything similar, we'd be interested to hear from you. On the subject of fleet carriers, the decision has been made not to allow Apex to set up taxi services on or to fleet carriers. This is in many ways a shame. It would have been excellent fun to order an Apex taxi to come to your fleet carrier, but repeatedly jump to the other side of the system each time they got close to docking, until the taxi ran out of fuel and the driver was left sobbing, waiting for the fuel rats. Fleet carriers do, however, have the Remlock Coffin Express installed, so if you find yourself in the middle of nowhere with only a sidewinder in the hangar, you can whiz off to the last safe starport in a matter of seconds, using one of those escape pods and what is rather unreassuringly described as the death mechanic.
Everyone knows that if you wave at a ship parked on a planet, it takes the hint and disappears off into orbit until you need it. But now, you can do the equivalent of asking Alexa to play your favourite audiobook by clapping to turn the ship's lights on and off. You can have hours of fun applauding your ship and getting it to flash its lights at you. Commander Osric has noticed that an awful lot of the folk in social areas seem to be asleep nowadays, and has speculated that there might be an epidemic of narcolepsy doing the rounds. Brother Sabathius is hosting the second of the Buckyball Racing Club's 8-Ball Championship Series for a week from Saturday. This reboot of the Aquarian job starts at London Relay in Epsilon Indy and requires the Horizons ship system to work properly. It includes 15 kilometres of racing in an SRV and is run with shields off, and bonuses are awarded for exciting hull damage. Expect mayhem and rebuys. The Pilots Federation streams have returned, keeping commanders informed and entertained. Commander Bruce Garrido is even reported to have smiled very slightly.
There were all sorts of problems with the decals handed out by Brewer Corporation for helping them finish the Colonia Bridge starports. There were supposed to be gold, silver and bronze decals for the top 10%, 25% and 50% of participants, and red, white and blue decals for many of the other participants. That's not what happened. The software accidentally multiplied by -1. So only the people who shouldn't have been given a decal got one, and all the people that should didn't. So now Brewer intends to put matters right. Those who should have a decal but don't will, as soon as possible. Those who shouldn't have a decal but do get to keep it as a gesture of goodwill, and those who've earned a Brewer Corporation Lifetime Achievement Award, that's everyone who participated, will get it very soon indeed, if they don't already have it. It's not easy handing out gongs.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News. We read the news so you don't have to.
Thank you to Wotheroo there for that joint investigation into the darker and less wholesome smelling parts of the Galnet News. That reminds me. It's time for Mia Harkness and the Hutton Helper results.
Yeah, well, you can open a window if you don't like the smell. Anyway, welcome to the Hutton Helper results. The Hutton Helper results are sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a lovely soft cushion, so you don't wear out your new bum cheeks. This week we have the following events: the Stand Up, Sit Down, Keep Moving Shield, the 1,000 tons of lumbar supports Cup Winners' Cup, the Fleet Carrier Cup Holders Challenge, the Weekend Sofa Sale Deja Vu Trophy, the Champion of Champions Championships for sitting down, and the Now We Need Tables Extravaganza. So, batten down the hatches, hold on to your roof, and if you're looking for your trees, they're in Norway. You might find that refers to one from about 4 weeks ago. This week's Hutton Helper results are: Above the Sky covered 53,000 light years for distance travelled. Montgomery Python sold 59,000 tons of stuff. Top mission runner is Montgomery Python again, who managed to score 583 mission points. Alex Zuno is as good as their word, handing in 888,888,888 credits of bounty vouchers. TWFIR, that might be a Welsh name, handed in 1,061 million credits of combat bonds. And Theta Sinuef delivered 2,313 passengers somewhere. Hopefully somewhere they wanted to go. So, decals for Above the Sky, Theta Sinuef, I Hobie and Will Settle Song. Please email itookpart@huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of 37p and change, a furry sweetie, some fluff and half a chicken nugget which has evolved into a sentient life form, all found in the back of one of the new chairs. So there's only one Hutton run this week. The Bert recorded a time of 1 hour, 24 minutes and 36 seconds for 201st place overall. Well, do you know, it's nice that someone still remembers to bring us out the essentials like Freddos, Salt and Shake crisps, Baconaise and that special ointment for Harry. See, the thing is, he gets awful chafing if he doesn't have his ointment. Right, anyway, you've had 2 whole days of Update 11, so it's time to get off your arse and get some exercise. There's a whole galaxy full of stuff out there needing shipped, shot, rescued, looted, repaired, destroyed, bought and sold, and you can earn yourself a very fetching Hutton decal for doing it. How, you ask? Well, I'll tell you how. Just go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the delicious new Hutton Helper, available in 3 mouth-watering flavours. Let's face it, anything has to be better than not having a seat when the music stops. Anyway, that's it from me. Back to Studio 5.
And thank you very much indeed. Yeah, so how many was it? It was 8888888 credits.
Oh, yes.
Of bounty vouchers. I think we raised a couple of potential solutions, and then I got some rather strongly worded emails back saying I just haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, and all my suggestions are definitely going to be ignored because they're silly.
It's not wrong.
Yeah, quite. Yeah. I mean, very perceptive woman, really.
Yes.
Anyway, on screen while that was happening,
I say that as a friend, you know.
Yeah. I mean, on screen at the moment, I have stepped outside for a little bit. I'm currently floating somewhere above my ship. Yes, I may be sometime floating above my my ship on the deck, trying to make everybody feel seasick while watching it. I better stop that because I'm going to feel sick in a minute. We don't have Aemilia with us this week, so we do not have. Oh, there's a type something 7 doing stunts. No, it's not. It's a taxi. Hey, hang on a second. I thought they said taxis weren't allowed. These NPCs. Anyway, so yes, there's no Aemilia this
It'll
week.
be Red Planet Taxi Service packing the hauler on the large pad.
Yeah, well, I'm going back downstairs
That's
to hide.
what they do.
I'm going to go back to the bar and drown my sorrows because, yes, I did manage to buy the bar. I had about 213 million
You can't
credits.
afford to stock it then, can you?
No, I can't. I spent 200 of my remaining 213 million on the bar, so I now have a lovely bar. I haven't talked to the barman yet, actually. So, yeah, I mean, that's about it for the show for this week. Thank you very much to everybody. And obviously, thank you to all the community who send in all the content for Flossy's community bits.
Yeah, keep sending them to us.
Yeah, so Pilots Federation, bleh, no, they can't have it. We want it. Yeah. We have at least 2,000 fewer listeners than they do.
Fewer or less?
Yeah, but fewer. But it's the quality. We haven't got that either.
We don't have that either. Yeah.
So one of the things I will be doing over on the hot property here, the hot property is open to commanders if they want to pop and visit it. It is bookmarked in the squadron bookmarks along with our other semi-official carriers. The barman here, I'm going to do my best.
That is a nice bar.
Yourself, they don't have any drinks. You can't afford it.
Well, no, but
can't afford it, love.
I'm going to see if I can load up this bar with some of the engineering materials as well for sale, just in case anybody wants any of the engineering materials at reasonable prices, shall we say. So, and of course, I'm sure the barman would love to buy any leftovers you've got as well. So if you do want to come and visit the bar on the hot property, please do, and see if you can drop some goodies off. And if you want to trade with anybody else or sell them to the bar and other people sort of buy upgrades and things, you're more than welcome to, Hutton. This is basically a space bar. The only service it has got is a bar. That's it. The hot property. So do come and visit it. Take selfies over on the hot property if you want to. It is currently just inside Imperial space. I was doing some medicine runs at the time, but I will send it back to the Hutton area. Commander Chicks, in your notes, is there anywhere in particular that would be appropriate to park a floating bar in Hutton space at the moment?
Oh.
They had an outbreak where those pirates were thirsty and...
Well, there's Lord 26, but we don't really care very much about that.
Now I'm just skipping back to your...
Well, there's an outbreak
your
in
notes.
Lord 26. Everything else is
Well, I'm full of medicine at the moment.
Well, we don't. We're just Lord 26. We have an outbreak. If somebody wants to...
Well, I tell you what, if I'm going to go for the end of the show, and I'm going to tell it to go and jump to Lord 26. I hope I've got enough fuel for this, because I haven't got any money to buy any more. So, yes, I'm going to go and park the bar. I've got about 4,000 tons of basic medicines on board as well, the fleet carrier.
If you can put it above Stone's Legacy...
Well, I've got to get to the system first. I think you have to do system first. This is all new to me.
You can go straight to... If you pull up... Have you been there before?
Ooh, Lord 26, I think so. Has that got a really
because the
shiny
station
star?
is 12,000 light seconds out. So if you've been to Lord 26 before...
Stone's Legacy. Oh, yeah, it is the one with the really bright star. Yep.
Yeah, so you can dump it off whatever Stone's Legacy is orbiting. You can park it there.
Well, it's sort of orbiting a belt, a star, and a gas giant. I don't know what it's nearest to. What do we think? The big star or the big gas giant?
I can't see the system map from where I am.
It doesn't really say. Let's have a look. There's we can either go to the star there, 6255. 6248 is the...
Some of us have got to work in the moment.
Yeah, here we go. Right, I'm just going to set the carrier destination. So it is going to Lord 26, full of medicines if anybody wants to, and it's the official Hutton carrier. So here we go. I'm setting the carrier destination. I'm probably out of money. I'm out of fuel. I've got nothing left in the bar. And
get out and push.
Yeah, I might have to go. I might have to just go and do some mining over in that ring or something nearby when we finish the show. Probably while I'm waiting for it to upload. On that note, the show will be uploaded to our YouTube channel if you missed the start of it, or you want to catch up on previous ones. It will take a couple of hours to upload and process, or a couple of days if YouTube is feeling a bit squiffy, which it often is. Other than that, we'll be back next week. There are no clocks changing this weekend, are they?
No.
That's next
weekend. It's on Mother's Day.
Yes.
So much for a lion.
I will be away next week, so Commander Palantir, you have the commander's chair for next week.
I have all these buttons.
All these buttons,
God knows what
and
they
obviously I've set the bar a little higher now. I was live streaming
sorry.
from my carrier at the same point as pushing all the buttons wrongly, which is,
That singed me.
Yeah. So other than that, it will be at the normal time. It won't be with me. It will be with him. It will be with them, and maybe with Aemilia as well.
And what it will be is
seamless.
It will be. Do you know what? There is one thing that's not going to happen because Amelia's not here.
Oh, yeah, it can.
You're not going to have. Oh, you can't tread on her toes. You cannot tread on Amelia's toes.
Oh no, you don't need to. I thought it was. I thought it was in storage.
Do you want me to see what happens if I push this button?
Yeah.
For the mug!
For the mug!
It's that button that makes me take my headphones off.
Ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen,
I didn't get a
that's the
chance.
end of the
anticipated.
show. Everybody's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?
Seamless.
And I've broken it.
What happened to
the random?
the mug?
Oh,
You had one job to do.
This one.
That one.
And then you said, bugger off.
Well, yeah, and you tell them to bugger off.
Right, well, we're going to
Don't
bugger off
bugger
now
off,
and listen
yeah,
to
hang
this.
about for the
Night,
phone.
night, everybody.
Hang about for the song.
Yeah, for the mug.
No cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Give me a large pad that I can land on, and I'll give you my cargo and sing you my song. No part 22 light years to go. Cruising to Hutton, whoa, whoa, whoa. No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the show. Everyone's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?